Hello, this is Retellings from the Lake, and this is Season 2 of the series Wednesday. The girl returns to Nevermore Academy, where outcast teenagers with various abilities study. Having received a vision of her best friend's death caused by her, Wednesday tries by all means to stop the predestined. The action of the second season begins with a piquant moment, Wednesday tied up in the lair of a serial killer. Despite the gag in her mouth, she explains the exposition in a voiceover. During the summer holidays, she honed her psychic skills with the help of Goody's book. To test them in practice, Wednesday decided to track down the maniac killer. To do so, Thing stole from the evidence room a bowling ball belonging to one of the victims found at the crime scene. Using her clairvoyant talents, Wednesday identifies the maniac and flies there by plane. While going through airport security, the guards deprive the poor girl of her self-defense tools. Arriving at the maniac's house, Wednesday tries to shock him with a taser, but from touching him she is overwhelmed by another vision, bringing black tears. She regains consciousness in a basement full of large dolls. Then the maniac appears, confessing that he sees dead people and that soon the guest will be one of them. But Wednesday has a helping hand. Thing attacks the killer and beats him up.
Знаете, я тоже умею руками работать.
After handing the maniac over to the police and returning home, Wednesday prepares for a new school year at Nevermore Academy. On the way, her younger brother Pugsley, who is also enrolling, practices his talent for throwing lightning bolts. That is his gift. Wednesday makes her brother knock down a stop sign, causing a car accident at an intersection. That's their kind of simple family humor. Meanwhile, not far from town, a private detective spies on a cuddling couple when he is attacked by a flock of crows led by a bird with an injured beak. The detective manages to tell someone on the phone where he hid the evidence before the birds turn him and his van into a giant bird feeder. The Addams family arrives at Nevermore Academy. Forced to look after her brother, Wednesday gives him a brief lecture on subordination, then learns that she has become a local celebrity after saving the school last year. After meeting the new principal, Barry Dort, she goes to her room, where her werewolf roommate Enid has trashed the place with her pack. Driving the shapeshifters away, Wednesday and Enid exchange summer news, with Wednesday giving her a doll from the captured maniac's collection as a gift. The girl also finds a crossbow trap and a message from a mysterious stranger who was spying on her. Touching a photograph, Wednesday sees a vision of being watched.
Эй, тебя преследуют? Не завидуй.
But the stranger skillfully avoided being seen. Gomez takes his son to his room, where Pugsley's new roommate turns out to be Eugene, Wednesday's classmate. Morticia receives from the Nevermore principal an offer to head the fundraising committee, which would allow her to see her daughter more often, though the prospect does not thrill Wednesday. To give the elder Addamses time to think, the principal lodges them in a cottage vacated after last year's events.
Кто подбирал обстановку?
Маньячка-убийца.
Morticia says she could become a spiritual mentor to her daughter to develop her talents, but Wednesday recalls Aunt Ophelia, her mother's sister, with whom Morticia cut ties. Later, walking upset, Wednesday stumbles upon a crime scene, the private detective pecked to death by crows. Spotting a suspicious witness, she gives chase. It turns out to be former Sheriff Galpin, whose son she helped get locked in a mental institution. He warns Wednesday that the birds are watching them. That evening, newcomers are told the story of the Skull Tree, a place in the forest where supposedly lies the buried corpse of one of Nevermore's best students, the inventor of a mechanical heart that still beats in his dead body. Only the bravest dare to go at night to hear it beat. Inspired, Pugsley decides to find this place at night and dig up the corpse. Meanwhile, Principal Dort blackmails the siren Bianca into joining the fundraising committee. Enid and her friends welcome Thing into their pack. Morticia remembers her sister, while Wednesday plays cello in the assembly hall, where she meets Isadora Capri, the new music teacher. Someone unknown cuts out the eyes from Wednesday's photograph. The next day, the academy prepares for the burning ceremony. A traditional event marking the start of the school year. Trying to convince Morticia to accept the committee offer, Principal Dort assigns Bianca to her. In her room, Wednesday learns that the stranger has stolen the only copy of her manuscript she had worked on for 2 years and hidden it in the ceremonial bonfire. Together with Enid, the girl heads there. The ceremony begins with the Nevermore anthem. Wednesday climbs into the pile of branches prepared for the bonfire to retrieve her manuscript. After the anthem, the principal gives a speech ending with the lighting of the fire. Crawling among the burning branches, Wednesday barely manages to grab her novel and escapes without becoming a gothic barbecue. Afterwards, the principal celebrates her as the savior of the school, but she rejects her newfound popularity and sets fire to a painting commemorating last year's events. Meanwhile, Pugsley goes into the forest, where according to the map lies the skull tree. Finding it, he trips and falls, accidentally releasing a lightning discharge. The powerful surge restarts the mechanical heart of the deceased inventor, and his corpse rises from the ground, to the boys' delight. Enid catches up with her roommate, but touching her sends Wednesday into another seizure-like trance. She sees Enid's grave and ghost, accusing her of causing her death. Wednesday wakes up in her mother's cottage. Morticia explains that black tears are a side effect of psychic exhaustion caused by overuse of the gift. She wants to help her daughter learn control, but Wednesday refuses. Remembering the bird vision and Sheriff Galpin's words that the birds are watching, Wednesday goes to his house only to find him dead. A flock of birds has pecked out his eyes and innards, making a nest inside his corpse. When she scares them away, the crows scatter. Trying to understand what happened, she touches the body, but no visions come. Instead, the police arrive and arrest her at the crime scene. Gomez, a certified lawyer, bails his daughter out. On the way home, Wednesday asks what happened to Aunt Ophelia, but her father says it's better to ask her mother. In the morning, Pugsley confesses to Eugene that he hides the revived zombie in his beehive shed, whom he named Gulp. Realizing he is hungry, they try to feed him honey, but the undead vomits it out. Then the boys bring him a cafeteria sandwich, Nevermore food that can either kill or feed the dead. Back at campus, Wednesday finds Enid lying on the balcony with her throat slit. But it turns out to be a prank in honor of Trickster Day, like April Fool's Day, but for fools unaware of April Fool's Day. Enid played the prank in response to an eyeball on her pillow, though Wednesday never put it there. She realizes it's a remnant of the late Galpin. Moreover, someone sends messages from the dead ex-sheriff's phone saying they're being watched. The academy celebrates Trickster Day, with everyone pranking each other.
Эта дрянь его точно не прикончит.
The principal strolls through the courtyard with Dr. Orloff, a distant relative of Professor Dowell. Wednesday asks if there's an avian at the academy who can control birds. The answer is no, such outcasts are rare. Wednesday then decides to talk to Tyler Galpin, the sheriff's son locked in an asylum for turning into a Hyde. She steals a ticket for a field trip and, cutting the instructor's duplicate pedals, drives to the asylum. The instructor notes that's where she belongs. At the institution, she meets Dr. Fireburn, a psychiatrist specializing in outcasts. She allows a meeting with Tyler, hoping it helps his treatment. But the boy, chained in an isolation cell, refuses to help in her investigation, shows aggression, and threatens to kill Enid, who once defeated him. Returning to her room, Wednesday finds Thing locked in a suitcase and a clue from the mysterious stranger saying Enid and her new boyfriend are kidnapped. She has half an hour to figure out where and save them from a deadly trap. Meeting Miss Capri gives her the idea that the clue is organ notes. Playing the right keys opens a secret passage to a tower. Inside, she sees a ghost leaving another clue in its mask. Enid and her boyfriend are chained under a knife-studded platform. As it begins to descend, Wednesday has only minutes to solve the riddle, hidden among the books. She realizes it's about H.G. Wells' Invisible Man. Typing the answer stops the execution. The mysterious stranger appears, a local schoolgirl named Agnes DeMille, who has the gift of invisibility. Happy Trickster Day, Wednesday. She is disappointed her mysterious stalker turned out to be just a fan pulling an inventive prank, though one very much in her own style. Agnes denies involvement in Sheriff Galpin's death, though she admits to stealing his phone. Understanding she must dig deeper, Wednesday returns to her room to study Goody's book for a way to restore her broken gift of visions. But Morticia has already taken the tome, believing without a mentor her daughter will abuse it, as insane Aunt Ophelia once did. Deprived of visions, Wednesday must investigate as a mere normie. She attends Galpin's funeral, where only the current sheriff and Dr. Fireburn also show up. From the psychiatrist, Wednesday learns Tyler's father once visited him at the clinic, triggering violent rage. Fireburn also shares suspicions of an avian behind the murders, but insists there are no bird-controlling patients at Willow Hill. Taking Galpin's belongings, Wednesday returns to Nevermore to study them. She enlists Agnes and her shapeshifter friend to unlock the detective's phone. Learning he hid evidence in a forest cabin, she decides to search it. To get closer, she agrees to join all the students on a weekend camp trip. Pugsley and Eugene discover Gulp returned to the shed on his own and began regenerating brain tissue. To avoid leaving the zombie unattended, Pugsley drags him along in a coffin. At camp, it turns out the elder Addams also came, as academy rules require some parent chaperones. Wednesday resents her mother for taking the book, but Morticia is ready to endure her daughter's venom to keep her safe. Pugsley hides Gulp in a tent surrounded by firework traps in case he tries to escape. Camp is disrupted by normie Boy Scouts, who also have the right to use the grounds. Principal Dort wants to end the event, but Wednesday proposes fair competitions. The winners get the camp. The Scouts agree. The rules: normies and outcasts each form to teams of 5. One defends a talisman, the other tries to capture the enemies. The team that first brings the talisman to the watchtower wins. Normies, having studied their rivals, knock off Gorgon Ajax's hat, petrifying his teammates. They bag Ajax's head, neutralize him, grab the talisman, and signal their victory rocket before running to the tower. Wednesday's strike squad struggles. Normies wear headphones, nullifying Siren Bianca's gift. So werewolves Enid and Bruno are unleashed, but Scouts neutralize them with tear gas. As a last trump card, Wednesday orders Eugene to send bees against the enemy. The stings incapacitate the Scouts, allowing her to reclaim the talisman. Still, the normies get ahead. One Scout reaches the tower. Wednesday uses a meadow to string a rope between a cliff and the tower. Sliding along it, she knocks down the rival at the last moment and plants her talisman, marking victory to the joy of all outcasts and the displeasure of the Scout leader. That evening, while Nevermore students celebrate, Wednesday sneaks to the sheriff's cabin, finding newspaper clippings of obituaries of outcast teens, all former patients of Willow Hill. On the wall is also the name Lois. She tries to use clairvoyance but still has no visions. Returning to camp, she challenges her mother to a blindfolded duel for the book. At the same time, Scouts, unwilling to admit defeat, plan a night attack. But the leader enters Pugsley's tent, where the zombie devours his brain and escapes, triggering fireworks. Wandering through camp, the undead nearly attacks Gomez in the shower, but Pugsley saves his father with a lightning strike. The zombie stumbles into the clearing, where Morticia and Wednesday duel with rapiers blindfolded. Morticia shatters her daughter's glass heart medallion, winning the fight and earning the right to burn Goody's book. Realizing her defeat, Wednesday hurls her rapier not at her mother but at the creeping zombie, impaling it. Later, police take the revived corpse to Willow Hill, where Dr. Fireburn is informed of a new dangerous patient who killed several people. It turns out to be Marilyn Thornhill, former Nevermore teacher. Fireburn wants to use Marilyn to find a cure for Tyler's murderous urges. Marilyn asks to see her product first. In confrontation, the youth transforms into a hide and nearly snaps his mistress' neck for what she did to him. She promises to free him. Meanwhile, Wednesday and her grandmother search a crypt, finding ashes of one supposed outcast victim, but the smell reveals it is just animal remains. At that moment, a one-eyed crow snatches the obituary and flies off with a cloaked stranger. Her grandmother advises finding the doctor who signed the outcast's death certificates. Later, Wednesday meets Uncle Fester, who shocks spying Agnes with lightning. Wednesday asks him to infiltrate Willow Hill to find out about a patient or employee named Lois. Fester recalls Aunt Ophelia once stayed there before escaping and disappearing. To get into the clinic, Fester books a room at a local hotel, paying with stolen marked bills and causing chaos. When the manager calls police, they arrest him along with Bianca's mother Gabrielle, hiding from her cult. Fester is sent to Willow Hill, where he undergoes electroshock treatment, nothing new for him. Wednesday confronts her mother about Ophelia. Morticia admits her sister had the same visions with black tears but, unable to handle them, was sent to the asylum by their grandmother despite Morticia's pleas. The conversation is cut short when grandmother, having bought out the cemetery, learns the certificates were signed by Dr. Augustus Stonehurst. Agnes discovers Stonehurst is now a patient at Willow Hill, where he once worked. At that moment, Wednesday notices cloaked strangers and dozens of crows attacking them and nearly kidnapping thing. Principal Dort scatters the birds with pyrokinesis, while Wednesday chases the avian into the music room, where she meets Dr. Fireburn and Miss Cupri. They discuss music therapy for a patient. Realizing she lost the killer, Wednesday sends Thing to deliver a message to Fester, find Stonehurst, he will lead to Lois. With some charm and help from the cook smitten with him, Fester finds Stonehurst. The man is paralyzed, mute, and wheelchair-bound, but his parrot can reveal where to find Lois. Led to a utility room, he hints the secret lies there. However, Marilyn recognizes Fester and alerts Fireburn. He is locked in a cell with Zombie Gulp. With Thing's information, Wednesday devises a rescue. Hidden in Miss Capri's luggage, she enters the asylum, while Agnes creates a distraction with dynamite and a toilet. The explosion allows Wednesday to slip inside, where the cook helps her steal keys and free her uncle. The zombie also escapes. Together they find a secret underground facility. From the parrot's code, Wednesday realizes Lois is an acronym, Laboratory for Outcast Experiments. Inside are dozens of cells with imprisoned outcasts. All the supposed deaths were faked to conduct experiments. Then the avian in a cloak appears, revealed as Judy, Fireburn's supposed assistant but actually the head of the asylum. She is also Stonehurst's daughter, who found a way to turn normies into outcasts, giving her avian power. The confrontation escalates. Fester blasts a lightning bolt, cutting power and releasing all magnetic locks, freeing patients. The outcasts attack Judy in revenge. Meanwhile, Gulp devours guards' brains, regenerates, and bursts into Stonehurst's ward, greeting him as an old friend before eating his brain. Marilyn uses the chaos to escape and free Tyler, but he hates her and promises to kill her. He gives her a head start, then, transformed into a Hyde, hunts her down and kills her. He then spots Wednesday, who is leading one of the freed outcasts outside. The Hyde attacks, throwing her out a window. Police arrive, forcing the monster to flee under gunfire. Wednesday lies unconscious on the pavement, bleeding. This is where the first half of Season 2 ends. The second half will be released very soon, in September. To be continued.